Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Stoke Hunters, where we dive into the stories of outdoor enthusiasts and the adventures that shape their lives. In this episode, we're excited to have David from EpicMTBStAX with us, originally hailing from Puerto Rico and now tearing up the trails around San Antonio. David has transitioned from a childhood filled with enduro ATV trails and paintball to becoming an IT solution architect by day and content creator and mountain biker by night. His journey from casual rides to racing enduro and creating engaging content for the mountain bike community exemplifies a life driven by passion and the pursuit of good days on the trail. So let's welcome David. Welcome, David.
What's going on, man? That's pretty solid. Yay. Yeah, excited to be here with you for sure.
Yeah, me too. After coming, I don't even know how I came across your page. I think it's when I found out about, I think I searched, top bike parks in Canada or like best places to mountain bike. And then Spider Mountain came up, and then you because what I do is I go and find all the locations, because like Instagram now, if you search hashtag, they only give you the top recents, whereas if you still search by location, you can see the actual recents. So then I think that's how I came across your stuff, and then just started commenting, and then
yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome for sharing, because we've been oversharing of what's going on in Texas. Getting that Stoke level high out here. It's just so important for us to just keep, pushing this message of, hey, Texas is here. We're doing mountain biking out here. Enduro is pretty good. We got some downhill, not massive mountains, but we got plenty of elevation to have a lot of fun. So we just have to be on the lift a few more times or pedal up a few more times than you guys probably out there in Canada, right? The good thing is we can get to enjoy the entire winter season out here. So we can really get to ride. And that's one of the most beautiful things. In wintertime, Texas is beautiful, and yeah, we get to enjoy the trails really nicely for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm jealous about you and all the Texas people, and like Johnny over in Florida and like Mia and everyone in California. It's like you guys don't get snow, so it's like you guys. It's like every year of my mountain biking, I only get like maybe 3 months because winter comes super fast, and then you guys get 4 times the amount of mountain biking in every year.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Summertime gets pretty gnarly out here, but if you go out early, it works out. If you just go 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., that works out perfect. You'll still in the heat out there, but it's great for training and endurance. So it helps us a lot. So just for example, this past year, I was just training a lot, and we went to End Your Fire. And it's like usually you get that sickness elevation, and I got it the first day, but second day and third day, I was like, great, it's working out. This is perfect, right? I was pretty much acclimate to it, and very quickly actually compared to previous times I've been out there.
Yeah. So I know in Florida, you have to dodge the alligators and stuff like that. What do you have to dodge in Texas?
Mostly bullets. No, it's pretty good out here. I would say that overall, just actually on the trails is pretty safe. Maybe more tarantulas and rattlesnakes than everybody else, but it's they're usually not in the way. Within the trails, I've been actually in a few races where I'm going down a trail and there's a snake and we run over, unfortunately, and that's the only encounter experience I've had. But usually, yeah, you can get to see them afar, but you don't really get to fight with them so much or become so much concerned that you got to run away or do something about it. Well, but no gators out here, which is good. Well, at least here in San Antonio and in the hill country area either, so that's good.
Yeah, I think I was getting my hair cut, and she was from the Middle East, and I was like, it was like minus 30 or minus 40. I'm like, why do in the winter? And let me just put that into. I know I always have to do this because I don't know my conversions well enough.
Yeah, same here.
Actually, minus 40 is the easy one because it's directly the same in Fahrenheit, minus 40.
Oh my gosh. So that's pretty wild, yeah.
Minus 40 Fahrenheit for the week, and then I was getting my hair cut for some strange reason instead of just staying inside. But I'm like, why do we live in a place where the air hurts us? And she's like, because of everything. She's like, we don't have snakes, we don't have tarantulas, we don't have big spiders. We don't have create all this stuff that wants to kill you in the summer because it just can't live up here. So I'm like, yeah, that's a fair point. I'm like, I think I'll have my minus 40 week to avoid alligators and all this.
Yeah, mosquitoes could get gnarly out here for sure. those are those are only thing. I mean, the heat can definitely get you. You know, we get out here. I mean, it gets pretty hot. Usually, well, degrees Fahrenheit is could be 100, 105, 110 even some days. It's just super dry. I've actually spent a month and a half now in Puerto Rico, and they were like, "Oh, Texas is so hot." I'm like, "Guys, there's a lot of humidity here, and over there we have pretty much no humidity compared to this."
Yeah.
In the island, I was like, I was just melting. Like I would step out of the cars, like this is way too hot. And also down there, they don't have anything like crazy that wants to kill you, but pretty much mosquitoes as well. So, yeah, no, Texas. It's fun. It's fun for sure. I mean, it's definitely in the summertime. You want to kind of find some indoor activities during the day, but early mornings or evenings are great. So they're beautiful for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't get rain for a couple months. So
that's wild. But I don't know if you listened to last episode. I had Kyle from Fun Farm. So what I like to do is kind of have our guests from the past ask our future guest a question. So he wants to know, and it's super easy, what are you doing to keep the Stoke alive, like day-to-day life or other stuff, just to keep the Stoke alive in the areas of life that matter to you?
Man, I think it's just pretty much goes down to discipline, you know, just consistency, like just doing it. Just keep doing pretty much the same thing, but trying to progress inside of it. So always seeking that progression. It's a pretty good question, I have to say, because there's no like a unique thing I can do. It's always a multiple things. So it's really just putting that variation between you know, working out, learning something new on the computer side, learning something new on the camera side, content creation, riding bikes. So keeping my stoke high for sure is always looking forward to ride my bike, and getting better at it. That's absolutely something that I really enjoy. But it goes the same with camera stuff, filmmaking and all that stuff, and also with the workout, and then on my career as well. So many areas for sure to like get some really good motivation and keep yourself busy, you know? Yeah. I think that's it, actually. Keep myself busy on working on myself for the next, what's going to be next on my life, really.
Yeah. And do you find it, you keep yourself so busy you don't think about it sometimes, or do you find that you have to have intention with what you're doing?
I do put some intention, writing down things, visualizations for sure. That's important. It's part of the game. I would say that's number one thing for sure. Visualizing and trying to make sure, okay, where am I going now? But I do like to flow through it. I don't like to go, I'm kind of thinking maybe this is a good opportunity. Maybe this is something good I want to work on, but I just flow. And if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, there's something else that I'll be busy on. So I do definitely, you know, take some time to sit down and think about, you know, planning and what are the things I want to kind of do. But I would say for sure it's a 50-50. Like I just let it happen.
Yeah. Well, I think if you go too far either way, I think that's where people start to, you know, have issues with it. Like, you know, if you're going through every day and you are so busy, or like, you know, you're just distracting yourself, like by the time you're like 50 or 60, you're like, what?
Oh yeah.
What did I do? And then it's like, you know, if all you're doing is planning the whole time, or like, you know, this is why I do it. This is why I do it. I find that can take a fun out of it a lot too.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, it's having that good balance. It's finding that balance, and focusing on the things that make you happy. You know, focusing on the things that help you. Like for example, working out is not easy, but it makes me feel good after the fact. Sometimes I feel sore for sure, but it feels good. I know I'm working on myself. So yeah, I mean, I feel having that balance is so important. I feel like having too much of everything, it definitely, you know, doesn't help, as you just mentioned, right? So yeah, I keep it pretty simple overall. You know, I have ideas that I worked on. If I have an idea, I try to keep it in my head, but I don't like fully plan to shoot it. For example, I'm like, I have this idea, but I'm just gonna go ahead and ride and have fun. And if I can capture it, cool. If I don't, fine. You know, it doesn't stop me from doing anything. I might have an idea and then it changes to something else, and I'm pretty happy with that too. So
yeah. Well, life throws you everything, so you kind of have to be flexible sometimes, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something I've learned too, for sure. You know, over the years, I really just pretty much appreciate everything that's coming to my way. So I don't like hyper focus on like, oh, it needs to be this way. It's like, right, whatever happens, it will happen. Whatever is for me, it'll be there. I'm putting the good energy. I'm putting the good work. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I don't know when, but it will eventually happen for sure.
Yeah. It's funny when you start putting stuff out into the world and not like, focusing less on yourself and more on others. I find for some reason, like whether it's karma or like the collective thing of the world, it's like, things just happen better for some reason. I don't get it, but that's what I've noticed anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's that energy you put it. Whatever you put out, that's pretty much coming back. Just make sure you do good things and try to not mess around with anyone. Always try to be happy people. So I always try to help out my friends, and I'm very protective of my energy too. I think that once you get to learn yourself more, and once you get to figure out who you are, the more you just become a solo guy. Like it's your circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Like the more real you are with yourself and your intentions, like not everybody's going to vote on it, not everybody's going to appreciate the process, and it's fine. I totally get it. I don't get mad with anyone or anything. I'm just like, this is my process. If we're not on the same energy level, cool, we're not connecting today here, but later on we might. But we're still good buddies and good friends. But yeah, that's something that we, and that's something I work with my close friends for sure. And it's the same deal. We talk about the same most of the time.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you say that, where your circle gets smaller or whatever. Cause like when I was in university, I built like one of the largest campus ski clubs in the world. We were 2,400 students in a campus size of 11,000, but it was like, oh, bring everyone. And then I kind of had that same mentality when I graduated, or like when I ran like a few other organizations. And then when I was running these 3 organizations, I was getting a little tired because I was doing like 99% of the work and some other people were doing like 1%. And then my mom passed away. And then that really shortens your trigger very fast when you have a loss and you're like, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I doing stuff that, I don't enjoy? But then that's kind of what kickstarted my like entrepreneurial journey even further. But then it's funny how like, if I try to talk like business or entrepreneurship or like, the stuff that I like doing on a day-to-day basis with like people who don't get it, it's like, it just is like, woof, like right by them. So it's like my circle is tightened up quite a bit when it's talking about that stuff. It'll be like, I'll have like 4 good friends who I talk about it now with, rather than like, the big thing. Cause it's like, if you're not driving and stuff, it's like, there's no point in talking about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I always love to get the feedback and like figure out right now in this space, right, I got quite a bit of following and I've been working on it for so many years. And I get to talk to everyone for sure. I love chatting with people. I'm a people person. But that's usually when I'm on the trails, when I'm having fun out there. And then I have for example, at the gym, I don't have a gym partner. Like I just go and work out solo, and I can have partners to have fun here and there. But like 90% of the time, it's like, this is my space. This is my time. And I'm very protective of it. Like, this is just me. And there I can actually think about ideas or whatever I'm working on for sure. It gets lonely. But it's cool though, like, because the connections you have are so real. Like we understand each other's point better. We can help each other out way faster and better as well. So it's quality over quantity. Yeah. And that really pays off.
Well, it's funny that you say quality over quantity, because it's like, that's true for everything. But and kind of when you were talking about, sorry, I have a brain fart.
It's all good.
But it popped me up into like things your parents tell you, but you don't listen to them at the point. Like, like my mom probably told me at one point quality over quantity, but I know for sure she's like, money doesn't buy you happiness. Another one was like, beer's an acquired taste. And like, I never drank it. I'm like, I'm going to drink a rum and Coke, or like, when I was growing up. And then, you finally go and do it. And you're like, so yeah, I did my first degree in engineering. And then went and worked up north and was making like boatloads of money, but it wasn't enjoyable, but I could buy anything you want. And then it's like, then I go back to school to do my second degree in marketing, and I work for a beer company, and my salary when I graduated fit into my engineering salary 8 times, but I was like 1,000 times happier.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, yeah, that's the beauty right there. It's just
But it,
finding that great, quality aspect of I'm enjoying this for sure.
yeah,
That's something I wish the mountain biking industry will have more money invested. And that's what we're kind of creating a new thing. If you look at it, road riding has been the biggest thing. Snowboarding in the winter time, right? There's so many areas that it's like getting finally introduced, and bikes are getting better in the past few years. And I can see big pros out there that they're finally getting to be, recognized at that level, and they've been working for so many years. So I wish, and that's one of the hopes for sure. I think there's a lot of potential in the mountain biking industry. And right now, that's why I'm still in the IT field. There's so much to do there for sure. And, it's pretty hard to like, all right, I cannot replace it. It's important. It's crucial. But yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting.
I was just Googling it. I think there's more mountain bikers than skiers, though. Like apparently,
that's cool, though. That's cool.
Apparently, so mountain biking is a very, very popular activity in the U.S. with nearly 40 million participants annually. And then when I search skiing, it said there was like 55 million. So like a little bit bigger, but like
that's cool. It's been getting there for sure. We've seen the growth. It's been getting way better. I think the pandemic, we had a lot of people that came out and ride, and obviously they went back to the regular office time, so they're not able to ride as much. And I feel sad for them. I know they want to come out and have fun. But yeah, no, it's absolutely growing more and more, and it's just becoming way more popular. And also, that's one of the things that I've been working on too. I'm just an average rider. I'm just a guy that loves riding bikes, and it's one of the best things I've learned or figured to like help myself decompress, go out there in the trails and have fun, and take my professional hat off and just be humble with everyone and get humbled by all the jumps and stuff that are scary. But like introducing new people to the sport is so awesome. Like in Spider Mountain, I can see it, right? That downhill park we have here in Texas is very unique. It's the only one in the South where it's a shared lift access. It's open the entire year. But you get to see all the families, the kids coming out, and then you see the kids like, oh my gosh, in the past 5 years, I've seen all these kids progressing. They're going off to college, but these guys are like, dang, that's awesome. I wish you had a pro contract or something to be able to sustain this sport, keep going, and just get to the next level. Now, that definitely is a lot of content creation. Everybody likes to do content creation, and I get it. It's a lot of work. It's absolutely a lot of work. And and to be fair, not everybody it's made to present themselves out there, and they just don't appreciate that aspect. And I totally get it, 100%. But there is a lot of great writers out there and a lot of great athletes out there. They just go to different endeavors because it's like, oh, this is just not paying off, or it's not going to pay off that quickly. And it's usually, just kind of focusing on that creation aspect. And we can see it, everything has moved around from just pretty much becoming popular because you were in a magazine. And now it's like, if you're not on the trending spots, we don't know you. Like it's wild. It's pretty rough, I would say. I mean, I would say it was way harder back in the day. We have a major opportunity now. We can learn so many things, AI, all this stuff, all the tools we have nowadays. We have a lot of capabilities for sure. It's just like, are we using them or not, for sure?
Well, 100%. Like you think you're talking to me right now, and it's actually just a green screen and AI. Like I'm not even actually here.
It's insane. It's insane. That'll be wild. That'll be wild. I actually recently discovered that you can clone your voice. So I'm just trying to get it sharpened up. But even with your accent and everything, it's wild. But you can clone your AI voice. Like you just clone it, and then your voice is like for voiceovers. So pretty soon, my videos, I don't have to talk. I don't have to do a voiceover 20 times or 30 times. I can just go AI and just type it all in. Perfect. Done. See you later. So that stuff, it's going to happen for sure. But obviously trying to keep it organic is the most important part.
Well, yeah, 100%. And I think it's figuring out what you enjoy doing. Because it's like, yeah, some people are great at content creation. I'm not one of them. Like I can make a post on Instagram and write it and, take good photos. But like just being in front of a screen all the time or like in a camera, I guess not a screen. I can't do it. But it's like.
Yeah. And that's understandable too. It's like, no, that's not part of what I do. There's people that naturally goes like, look at Just the Maker. You look at Seabass, number one TV, right? These guys are like, Colorado Kid. Like these guys are like front of the camera all the time, and they're just personalities now. And these guys are like really awesome to like hang out with them, have fun, ride with them. They have that, or they discovered that they had that in them too. So that's something we also like. We get to enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, yeah, it's like I don't want to force it at all.
Yeah, but no, I think it's like, you know, you can figure out other ways to do it. Like you don't have to have a million. Well, not even a million, because I don't think any of the, you know, big content creators in mountain biking have like you know, they're like 100 to 200K followings, I believe. But it's like,
yeah, and engagement rates are horrible right now too. Instagram has been destroying us.
100%. But I think it's, you know, like I've always like, you know, Instagram, TikTok, like, you know, being a big content creator, wasn't big when I built the largest campus ski club in the world. It wasn't big. Like, yeah, they were there, but it's like, you know, just play to your strengths. My strengths are welcoming people and making them feel part of the community. And then they bring their people. And then, yeah, maybe I bring someone who brought someone into the community as a content creator, and then they can talk about it. But it's like, you know, play to your strengths, play to your strengths rather than, you know, play where everyone else is playing sometimes.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you in there for sure. That definitely, yeah, 100%.
So what kind of brought you into mountain biking originally?
So, well, I mean, you know, you always ride bikes as a kiddo, and you always have fun. And you know, for me, I had a lot of fun when I was growing up on the island with my uncles. You know, they had ATVs, dirt bikes, and everything. I was riding most of the time Banshees ATVs, so I was like on it all the time. That was really fun on the quad, and just, you know, just enjoying the enduro perspective. We're always looking for things to climb. So moved out here. Actually focused a lot on fitness and a lot of my career too. I was in college and focused on my career. Moved out a couple years later, 2018, 2017. I was always riding bikes, but like Walmart bikes, right? It's like, oh, we're going to go around the city. It's fine. I don't need anything that expensive. I thought that $100 was like, that's a solid bike right there, because that's the things we thought as kids, right? We just didn't have, like, in reality, we didn't have any like good bikes back then. Like, they were like the Walmart bikes. That was the best thing we can have. And then a branded bike is like, whoa, nobody's going to buy that. $500. I was like, whoa, you're not getting that. So pretty much in 2019, you know, I like fully like got on. I was riding around the trails quite a bit. And then I got to meet this group. Simon is one of them from Dirt Therapy. He let me use his Diamondback. And I was like, this thing is awesome. So I got to like actually experience a real mountain bike. And from there on, I just went and literally, actually, he was selling that bike too. And I asked him, hey, are you going to sell it or not? And he told me, yeah, I might not. And I ended up buying my first, you know, the Polygon out of Polygon Bikes. I went on Bikes Online. It's like, damn, that's a pretty good price. I checked on the local stores. And it's like, it's going to be tough for me to sell like a $3,000 bike. But if I can get a $1,300 bike, that might work out pretty good. And if it doesn't work, I can always return it, you know? I was like, all right, cool. Got it to test out, man, and still, I got it right there. Still solid. I haven't even done a full maintenance on that thing, but I put in hundreds, if not thousands of miles to it. That's my backup bike and trail bike. But yeah, ever since that, then 2019, got on it. 2020, I was having fun around, and then jump on the racing game as well. So that's where, you know, my first downhill race happened in 2021. I did actually an XC race. It was actually in 2021 as well, but that was like brutal. Like that was insane, because I did it on my enduro. I was with my massive pack with water and tools, because we're, you know, doing enduro supposedly. I was padded up. Everybody was like in super lycra, super lightweight. I was like, what the heck? I'm not in the right setup. But I ended up going to, I think I actually got 13 out of like couple of I think it was 40 or 50 people in my class, so that worked out pretty good for being an enduro bike. Completely, like, obviously I was enjoying the downhill and they were enjoying the uphill. I was absolutely miserable climbing, but they were really, you know, slower on the downhill side, and I was just flying by it. So I can definitely catch up with time. But then, yeah, I started doing all the local races here. The downhill race was actually, the first one was Spider Mountain. I did my first downhill race. That was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I was already, you know, practicing for it and like trying to get ready. And none of the, I mean, I think majority of people that they just don't race, you don't get few elements out of it. Like when you race, I mean, not everybody will get it, but like you start getting technical, and that's the point you start. Oh, I messed up here. Oh, how these guys are doing it better. How they're getting faster times. If I'm riding kind of the same way they are, but like you start being more analytic about it, and at least from my perspective, so I'm like, dang, I got to figure out cornering. I got to figure out how to ride faster in the chunk. You know, I need to let go of the brakes. Actually have a really good buddy of mine. He's one of the pros expert right now, and he's absolutely one of the fastest guys. And he's like, the one thing you got to do is just let go of the brakes a little bit more every time. I'm like, dang, that's the hardest part. I don't want to let go of the brakes, you know. But then I started just pretty much figuring out all the different things that I can do, and yeah, it worked out really good. You know, the first year was more like figuring out, trying to learn. And actually, I did a massive drop. I hurt my back, went to a chiropractor. Then I had a major crash too, just before that, I believe. I remember. So I had like a crash, messed up my lower back because I did a massive drop and I landed flat. And I was like, huck to flat deal. And that hurt me badly. So I ended up in the chiropractor, trying to recover. Still went for a ride every time I could. And then in 2022, that I really put my 100% focus on like, I want to do this for real and just make sure I can place, you know, in a good podium if I can. I did a couple of podiums and end up top 3 overall in my class. I feel like that's something in the North for sure for me. It's just, I probably just focus on the downhill perspective because it is, people don't get to realize, but I mean, these pros, they're just not riding on those videos you see that are viral. Like, that's not the only ride they do. Like, these guys are training for years to get there. They're crashing left and right. They're training hard to get to where they are. So the training aspect, that was a lot of work for sure. I really enjoyed it, but it was definitely overwhelming up to the point it's like, dang. I mean, if you want to perform good, right? Because you can just go and do the race and just ride and have fun. But if you want to like really focus on it and put a good time, you definitely want to train.
Well, and I think you have to, like, for the people who go far in it and, you know, become pro riders or like, you know, professional hockey players or professional, I think they really I think you really have to enjoy the little details, or like, you know, constantly being like, oh yeah, I will shoot that puck 1,000 times into that net top corner, or, you know, I will do this run 1,000 times. And you really have to enjoy that, because if you're not, and, you know, you have to want to be like bettering yourself rather than being like the best, because when you try to be the best, unfortunately, no matter how good you are at being the best, like, unless you're like, you know, Michael Jordan, but then, you know, we still have these crazy conversations where like, oh no, it's LeBron James now. No, it's Michael Jordan. So at the end of the day, you're still not the best all the time. It's like, and then there's always someone better, like, you know, like,
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of this sport too. Like, it's so cool because what we're doing out there in the trails is really just having fun. So I get to ride with a lot of pros, a lot of guys there. There's a few content creators and influencers out there. They're getting ripped good. Like, this guy's can ride. And it's so cool to like also experience that aspect. Like, everybody's good at their level. So your level is good, but there's absolutely someone that's going to be a way better level than yours. But you can always learn. That's the beauty. Like, I think that's one of the things that I appreciate a lot from the mountain biking aspect, is that just you know, you get humble a lot for sure, but also it's appreciating, like, you got to learn something new every time. Like, you always figure something out. It's like, oh, that's what I needed to do. Like, there's things that people will tell you and they don't click ever until it's like, oh, it happened. I got it now. You know, it's like that stuff definitely helps you. And it's also like, I think I heard this quote or read this quote from Usain Bolt, right? The fastest runner. It's like, I trained for like 4 years to like run 9 seconds, I think it was. It's like, this guy's just training for 4 years, probably running every single day for hours just to literally do one race 9 seconds. Like, that's pretty wild. Like, definitely there's a lot to work to get to that level. And I bet you somebody's going to beat him pretty soon too, if he hasn't yet beaten, which is wild.
Yeah. You just, I find, you just gotta, you gotta love it for yourself, not for anyone else.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I did on the downhill and enduro racing. I was just focusing on myself. I was having fun with my friends, but I was not trying to beat them. So that's something in my composition perspective. So I did basketball and baseball when I was a kid, boxing as well. Boxing was like one of the top experiences I had because you really have to appreciate the other fighter. You have to learn from their mistakes. It's a very different sport because you're like, oh, that's your mistake. I'm going to definitely get you. You know, it's like you're usually going quite the opposite from the normal like games. I mean, basketball and baseball still, you have to make a mistake. You pitch the wrong ball. I mean, it's going to go out. Same with basketball for sure. But like these three sports early on really helped me. It's like to understand the competition aspect, but like focus on myself. Like, what am I doing? And then if I see my competitor, whatever they're not doing, that's the stuff I should be training on so I can take the lead. But not because, oh, they're better than me and this and that. No, it's like I'm just getting better myself. But I know there's certain things I can possibly polish and get better, and that probably helps me out on the long run. And it has for sure. Like the training aspect, and my bodies too. I got a few that they're just like insane guys. They're training hard. They're really getting at it, and I get to see that and appreciate it for sure.
Well, and it just kind of popped into my head, like boxing, maybe not so much because like you're learning on the mistakes, and like you'll find mistakes in baseball and basketball, but I think those sports are definitely one off the court. It's the person who can do the 10,000 free throws, or like the person who can do the 10,000 layups, rather than always having that advantage, or like seeing that mistake immediately on the court. I think it's a lot of off court stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was funny when you said like good bikes or whatever, because like back in the day I had like the Walmart bike or the Canadian Tire bike.
Same.
but it kind of popped into my head. Full suspension bikes didn't really like. Yeah, there was maybe a couple, but I wish we had video back then to seeing like the crazy shit people were doing on hardtails.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's one of the things I enjoy a lot. There's an Instagram page actually, vintage mountain biking, I think it is. Yeah. I don't remember exactly the handle, but I love to see the videos. Like actually, I got to ride with a few guys that were like on the old days, and they were like the pro guys, like the top guys, and it's pretty amazing. Like these guys are telling you the stories, and they show you some of the videos. Obviously, what the event where it was able to like film, because there's no GoPro, there's nothing. And they're like, man, those were the days. Like things were so gnarly, but also the trails were different. Like the trails we're riding today, they were riding the green trails. What for us today is just pretty much beginner trails, right? And for them, it's like a blue-black trail. So things have absolutely progressed as the bikes get better. Trails can be, gnarlier and steeper and bigger jumps. I think there's a few guys I was watching also, like there's in Chile, I believe, and for some reason 200 feet got locked in my head, but I was talking to Ryan Rodriguez. He's one of the free riders. He's pretty badass. We got to spend a weekend in Spider just recently, and that dude can jump like it's insane. Like his skill is absolutely amazing, and you can see him in Sedona and the stuff he's done all over around Utah. It's pretty wild. Like, and also I think Guatemala too he was doing, but when you look at that perspective, man, it's cool to appreciate what we have today. Like, for example, in Chile, these guys were trying to reach the limit of getting to 200 feet. And usually, I think the longest right now is 144 feet, I think, or 140. But, like, I cannot imagine getting to those numbers on a bike. I mean, these guys, for example, on the Dark Fest and all those, they're sending 80, 100-foot jumps. And you're like, what? I mean, you don't get to experience that. You don't get to appreciate it on the video because the video is like, oh, it happened. But when you're there, it's like, oh my gosh, these guys are actually doing this for real. So it gets gnarly. It gets gnarly and intense for sure.
Well, and yeah. I think we need someone. Maybe I'll talk to Molly, Helen B. Or Hambury. She was on our podcast a few episodes ago, but she's doing her PhD in like understanding how the body reacts in cold temperature. But maybe we can convince one of her friends in the PhD world to figure out what percentage of like, or how much does a GoPro reduce the extreme factor of what someone hit? Because it's like, you'll see these pros ride it and you'll be like, oh yeah, I can hit that. And then you go and see it and you're like, I don't even want to walk up there, let alone come down
nope.
it.
It's like, absolutely no, that's not happening. It's happened to me. Like even Spider Mountain, we have one of the biggest drops down there on the sleep tide drop, and we're talking what? That's a 12-footer maybe. So when you land in the transition, you're going down to flat. But like when you look at it, it's like, whoa, this is something else. This is just not, something that will go easy and make it happen. So it definitely, it takes you. Like there's a lot of trails, and if you're just a beginner too, it's like, whoa, this is absolutely gnarly. Like for me, going to, for example, India Fire, New Mexico, they have amazing trails, massive jumps. They got 50-footers, I think, and one of my buddies, actually Jonathan from their therapy, he oversent one of the jumps, and he went like 75 foot maybe. And I mean, but these things are like 3 stories high. They're massive, and you're looking, it's like, whoosh, that's pretty wild. And you start working yourself and getting there little by little. It's like, oh, I can get there for sure. So that's pretty neat. It's pretty neat just appreciating all the the different aspects of the sport, and just man, I really get to enjoy it for sure. I really appreciate the riding, the connections, the just being out there in nature. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and I think mountain biking, and maybe it's because you have to go uphill. I mean, you guys at Spider Mountain, do you even do you just weld your pedals because you just have to like be in one position to go down? Like you don't actually have to pedal up.
Yeah, you don't pedal up ever. No, so like you just pretty much. We can make like push bikes all the way down. I mean, if you drop your chain, if you destroy your derailleur, you can still go all the way down, which is pretty bad. Actually, I've seen guys doing that.
Buy chains. You guys probably don't.
Yeah, it's like just let go of the brakes. Actually, that's the time you absolutely don't want to use any type of braking.
but with mountain biking, what I noticed, skiing not so much, and maybe it's because like you're going down all the time, so you don't. I mean, like you hit stuff and make it more extreme, but like I remember the first like 5 or 6 rides I did, because like I've only been mountain biking for last summer was kind of like my big ride, but there was always this hill, and it's probably like 10 kilometers at like maybe a 15-degree slope, maybe not that much, that might be too extreme. Whatever it is, it's just like constant up like this. And like the first time, I'm like, I think I made it up like 66%. I'm like, okay, sweet. And then like 2 days later I come back and I like get up like maybe like 75, and then by the third time my body was like, okay, we can do this, and I made it all the way up, and then I'm dying at the top, and I'm like, yes, I made it. But there's I don't know what cool. It is with mountain biking where like you just see that growth for some reason a lot more.
It's just, I don't know, man. It just feels like you're a kid again, right? That's what I like really from mountain biking. You don't have to be. I mean, sometimes you get pretty chilly when you're riding out there, but like you just kind of get to be free. I think that's what I feel when I'm biking. It's freedom, like really disconnected from technology and everything. Even though I have a GoPro, I might have a camera. Usually I'm riding with a bunch of cameras with me when I'm filming content stuff. But like, it's just like you're out there in nature. Like, and that's something I actually appreciate a lot, like on the filmmaking aspect, right? And just being able to like, for example, work with their therapy, like not work, but volunteer majority of my time for filming. I go out there with them, go for a ride. We spend a weekend, and all these different personalities, and we're all having an absolute blast. And nobody cares. Like you could be a director, you could be. I don't care. We're all out here today. And if you're scared of this feature, we're gonna help you overcome this. But just being out there is like, it's pretty amazing. Like it's so cool. It's so cool. And then for me, obviously, filming and seeing things a little bit different. That's been one of my passions also for so long. Like I capture, like ever since I got a phone with a camera, or actually a camera, I was just taking photos left and right. And then the phones came out, and like things got better and better and better. And yeah, man, you can see my library is like massive. Like I have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of photos and videos, probably bumbling down the trails a lot of times. We've been monkeying around with that quite a bit, but for sure, it's been absolutely, for me, it's like great journey, like figuring out, seeing things from different perspective, like putting things in video where 90% of the people will hate to create it or take a phone and take a photo or a video, but then when they watch it, it's like, oh, we were out there, like memories. So that's the way I see it. Like whenever I'm filming something, I'm creating memories. And it's memories for me when I'm older. I can go back and see, show my grandkids and whatever. I just like, hey, I was doing this kind of stuff. So we did some good stuff. I really enjoy. That's pretty much my north with that. Like my focus with it. Like I want to just be able to show others the things we're doing, not because we're bragging about it or anything. We're just having fun. We're really trying to show you in a very creative way of the things that we're up to.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, you'll have to come up to Canada, and then
I want to.
You can shoot with the Flannel Crew because they did their bunch of great guys, Joey Austin and the others. They did a full length film last year and then like did a tour with it. But they're doing another film this year. But yeah, like there's something about watching content, and I don't know, maybe the hardcore stuff, but like honestly, I enjoy the stories sometimes a lot more than the content, or like the extreme drops. It's like I'd rather
100%.
I'd rather hear why you got into mountain biking so I can relate, rather than like if you can drop a million foot cliff, because like I'm never gonna hit that.
yeah that's something I actually worked a lot too. Is like I've been able to progress so much that after racing, actually I can see myself, like for example, I was hitting a line and I was doing it at 20 miles per hour, and now I'm like 35 miles per hour. Like, and that's a major improvement. You're like, whoa, that's a lot of speed. But like things like that, you get to enjoy them and appreciate. But at the same time, I want to really just get everyone involved. So like, and that's that right there. You just hit the sack point. Like I always focus on that. Like I don't want to show you the pro aspect or how fast am I. Like I don't care much about that. I'm really trying to tell you my story and show you where I'm at and having fun. Like in Puerto Rico, for example, riding down there, that was pretty cool. Like, I get to spend quite a few weeks out there and just get to go to most trails, or no, actually, I got to go to probably like 30% of the trails because the rain didn't help as much. But just being out there, like showing people, or even the locals, they were like, whoa, we didn't know this was out here. Like, and you're showing me, it's like, yeah, I don't want to show you anything. Like, there was actually a video that I had on one of the road gaps that they have. And that for me is like, whoa, I got that one. That was so sick. That was so cool. And the video took off with me just riding on the beach, just relax, just chilling out there. So that thing is like went viral. And the other one's like, oh, that was way more satisfying for me. But this one, people are connecting with it. So that's exactly, I'm very strategic on it too. Like I don't plan the content most of the time. I really just go based on what happened that weekend or that week. And then from there on, I get the highlights. Like I just think about, and usually I start looking at the videos like, oh, that was pretty cool. I'm going to post it out. And that's how usually we generate the stories behind it. It's really try to keep it organic. And yeah, going that way is pretty neat. Like I've definitely done videos that are like, we're editing for hours. We're shooting that thing. It's like, maybe 100 views, and we're like, come on, guys, what just happened? We spend this much time, and nobody, like, yeah, people will like it, but the algorithm or whatever is going on with Instagram won't show it to anybody else. And at some point might, but, it's wild. But I get you. I get that for sure. I'm one of those too. I really enjoy the stories. Like, one of my favorite people or creators is Casey Neistat. He's one of the main creators of vlogging. Like, this guy evolutionized YouTube. When you think about, and Casey Neistat is one of my main, I would say, I started watching him when literally he just got started on YouTube. And from there on, I'm like, damn, I've picked up a lot of things from him because I was watching him literally every day. This guy was vlogging for a year or more than a year for every single day. And the storylines behind it was insane. And you're like, wow, that's wild. Like when you start trying to do it, it's like, whoa, this is a lot more work. But he ended up being, right now he's a millionaire. He ended up developing an application that they sold for 20 plus millions, I believe. And all his YouTube channel monetization and stuff has been, he can create a lot more now and just be chill.
Yeah, 100%. So training and racing kind of, has been a big part of, your most recent, or like the last few years. What lessons from racing do you apply now to your everyday riding or life?
Consistency. That consistency of understanding. So I might be sick, might be feeling pain, might be feeling, well, depending on the pain. there's certain levels, but like whenever I'm not just motivated, I still push through it and just make it happen. So I know it's going to be better after I do that. So training every day and just like getting there, it helped me appreciate that, but also helped me appreciate my recovery time too. So like a lot of times I don't get to recover as much, but on mountain biking, when you're racing, you want to definitely have a good recovery because the next day you're going to feel it. You're out there in the field for 8 hours, you're riding the entire day, and there's races there are 2 days, and you're struggling with crazy weather. Sometimes it could be super cold, sometimes it could be hot. It all depends, but like or maybe raining. So like it's pretty wild. So that's something I definitely take with me for sure. Like consistency, and then taking the time to really take myself completely off for a second and come back stronger.
100%. I grew up bodybuilding. And yeah, like everyone, you think you build your muscles in the gym. That's not where you build them. It's like you build the potential there, but where they actually grow is when, you're getting your proper food, you're getting your proper rest and all this. So
yeah. Usually sleeping. Yeah. It's wild, right? It's pretty insane when you look at it.
And, and like the thing that we do, like, it's like people like, you'll have your rest day or whichever, but a lot of people don't realize it's like, okay, well, yeah, your upper body might have a rest, or your lower body might have a rest, or your full body has a rest, but your nervous system hasn't been rested. Your blood, like everything else, your brain, like, yeah, it's like, you should take a week off, or every like year or so, or a few months, or however intensely you're training, it's like, come back, take a break, and go.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the things that actually helped me a lot is that at the gym I go to, they got cold plunge. They have, actually they don't have right now, they were just doing it on the pool, but they have the spa as well and the sauna. So I put myself, so when I'm doing a recovery day, which I actually use tools like the power plates and stuff like that for recovery specific, I usually try to, disconnect. Like I'm just like thinking about nothing, just like get your brain a break. And that usually happens in the gym. Like that's the only place or the trails. I just go, and maybe I just go for a super easy ride. I live 5 minutes from my trails. So hold on, there's some noise out here. But I live pretty much 5 minutes from the trail. So I usually just go out there and literally I'm just like going around, but like hearing nature and just disconnecting from everything that's going on. It's really helped me a lot for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, brain fart. But yeah, I noticed when we were chatting, you've had some pretty good partnerships. Would you say it's played into a bigger part of your success and everything like that?
Absolutely. Any collaboration always helps you, just volunteering, for example, with their therapy. That's one of the greatest ones. I've got to learn so much on the camera systems, right? And like actually doing some filmmaking with them, like, whoa, now we have a group. It's not me only, like now we have a lot of people. Like I collaborate a lot with Simon, for example. He's one of the main editors. Like we get to collaborate and share all these experiences, but also try to capture them all and be organic about it, or try to keep it simple, but just raw. Like try to keep it as it is and not try to plan it too much and not go too crazy about it. Has been a great part of it for sure. Power plates for sure. It's funny because I was using them for so long at the gym, and I was using them because of my chiropractor. They kind of forced me to go into this machine before I get stretched out. And I want to just get stretched out, just get my thing, my thing's going, and I want to feel good. But they're like, no, you got to jump on that. And I quickly discover it's like, oh, every time I jump on it, I'm more relaxed. I'm feeling, my body's feeling pretty loose and ready to go. And then I started looking at the benefits. It's like, whoa, this thing is really awesome. So I did a session, a couple of rounds actually in the chiropractor, but then after that, low back issues left and right. It was insane. I actually got to pretty much just do power plate to get fully recover. And that really helped me big time. That really, really helped me out. Actually, hang on. I think something here in the garage fell off. Should be good. But so I started doing that and fully. I think it was one of the planks I was trying to plan to put up there for the bikes. So yeah, doing power plates. Well, one of the things I was like, dang, I'm using it all the time at the gym. So I started tagging them, and pretty soon they're like, hey, David, we want to collaborate with you. You want to collaborate with us? And they send me equipment. And from one plate, which is the one that vibrates, it's pretty cool actually for recovery and for even training. They send me a bike, they send me a massage gun and stuff. And then we started working at a couple of contracts to where, I'm creating content with them, figuring out a total different strategy because I'm doing mountain biking content and POV and having fun out there, and now I have to integrate this thing that I'm doing out there and putting my face more and like just being myself in the gym, which that's my time to like disconnect. But it really worked out. So it really worked out. MacBed is another one. MacBed, it's been amazing. I've been using this magnetic pedals for so long, but overall, the products actually, and just to put it like in perspective, all the products I've been using is because I like them a lot. Like I'm not like pushing the product if I don't like it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like this product I tested out, it's like the sunglasses, like, dang, hell yeah. But right now I'm spending a lot of time on the downhill. It's been kind of chilly out here, and finally it's warming up. And now it's like, I'm going to be just summer gear. That's, it's going to happen. But that kind of stuff for me, it's like, I love to always test it out and see things and be, just tell people this is my actual experience. You'll see me rocking something good or using it all the time. That's with the bikes, and stuff like that. Just generating the opportunity about pretty much just doing that and enjoying it. But yeah, power plates and MacBed for sure. MacBed, absolutely a great investment I did for sure there. I worked with them quite a few things. We worked a bunch of videos. Actually, one of my main viral videos I think it was with the bike, and then another one with the manual trainer, and then I got the pedals, and I got like, it was a couple of million views. I think one of the videos had like 22 or 20 plus millions for sure views. Wow. And that's before Instagram added the save button. I don't know if you're aware, but like when they added the save button, they destroy the engagement, because what happens is people won't follow you. They will just save your content and see you later. So they never follow anymore, and they don't even like a lot of times either, like, which is wild. Yeah, so pretty much from that, those partnerships have been key. I do a lot of stuff with Thanos Armor is another one. I really appreciate those guys big time. Grip It for my gloves. Like, there's certain things I really, again, it's just like I enjoy those things. Let's create the opportunity, and I have a few more out there for sure that I work with. And yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool.
Well, and I think it like, like when you start working with brands or you start collaborating with other people or this, it's like, you come in with your followers, they come in with their followers, like, and usually they're not like, yeah, there might be a little bit of overlap, but they're usually in different circles. And like, this is for anything, like, we can even go one step further when it's like, if you're doing something in IT or like, someone's doing something in sales, like, just finding someone to collaborate with can usually work so well to like bring new ideas, new things that like when you first starting to look and being like, hey, can we work together? Can we do this? It's like, sometimes those ideas aren't even in your head, and then you guys just start shooting ideas, and yeah, crazy things can come a lot of the times.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's cool, man. It's cool. They also have, their own, like, for example, the power plates, they have their own strategy. They have many things they worked with. They work with very famous people, big athletes. They have major investors like Mark Wahlberg. Like, there's big people behind the brand. And obviously I'm one of like the main guys they had for like the mountain biking aspect. And that was pretty neat too. Like, cause I was just creating the opportunity when I started working out with them. Like, I'm riding, I'm recovering, and this is what I use. And actually for training and also for racing, while everybody was complaining they were super sore, I was like just out here vibrating. It's like, oh, get it all ready to go. And I was recover like twice as fast as everybody else, which it was pretty insane. So I was going to the trails like, I'm feeling good. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
That's cool.
So yeah.
So are you gonna go? Are you gonna take Mark Wahlberg to Spider Mountain?
Man, that would be awesome. He was out with one of my friends out there on their gym. She's one of my great friends. Little Tank. She's one of the riders. Her husband is actually the amputee. He rides the bikes. That's the one we posted not too long ago that he got a adaptable bike and he was doing all the spider stuff. Like, pretty wild dude, but it's awesome. But he was on their gym also, checking them out. So it's pretty close here in Texas. Pretty soon we'll get him out to Spider and have a good time. It's such an amazing dude for sure.
It
That'll
looks
be
fun.
that'll be awesome.
Like yeah, I think well, and like the community you guys are building. Well, I mean, it's mountain biking. So like what I say to people, because like I've only been biking for a year, so like last year I didn't know mountain biking because I knew it was there, but like mountain biking community is the tightest knit community that you'll ever come across that you didn't know existed until you start biking.
Yep. And then all your money start going away.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, that's a new bike. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get. You keep going, but yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing for sure. Like, anybody that I talk to and they don't do bike is like, man, you're missing out. It's so cool. Like for me, we just get to be kids again. Like, again, I can get to enjoy life from a very different perspective. And most of the time, we're focusing so much in adulting. Like, yeah, we're going to grow up. It's like, cool, but when do we have fun? I don't want to have fun in a bar. I don't want to have fun eating in a restaurant and getting sicker and sicker. Like, I want to have fun out there. I don't want to have fun just one time of the year in vacation time. What if I can go every evening and go for a ride? Or I don't know. And everybody has different passions, and I love that for sure. They can probably go hunting. They can probably go running, trail running. Like, that's pretty cool. But for me, it's like, if you're experiencing something that really fulfills you, or try it out, it will probably help you. It will probably save you too. Like, a lot of people struggling, mental battles they have, this thing can be absolutely lifesaver. And it's been we know for sure. We got people that they say it. It's like, man, you guys saved my life, and that's so fulfilling for us. That's pretty cool.
Well, 100%. You get adrenaline. Like you get your physical you get your physical fitness. So like that's huge for people who are battling mental. I don't want to say issues, but like battles maybe.
Battles, yeah, struggles, and things they're trying to overcome, yeah.
And then too, with the community, you also get friends and people who are in that area where sometimes maybe, let's say you're always going out to the bar, or like or drinking a lot, and like a lot of people, like, yeah, you might not come across people who still have a few beers, but like for the most part, mountain bikers are I would say probably a little bit healthier, because if you're not, well, maybe
you're gonna feel it on the next day.
Well, when you have your chairlifts, you can lose chain. You don't have to worry as much. But for the enduro guys and everything, you have to keep your body in check so you can get up to the top of the hill, or otherwise you're only going to be 100% feet.
100%. Yeah, you feel it. You feel it really quickly. But also, it's also like trying to keep it safe. So you do it more. You're more conscious about it too, right? Because we've seen people, they like to have fun, and sometimes they end up crashing really bad. So it's like, we always try to keep that safety aspect as well. It's like, have fun. You get a couple if you want. It's cool, but like, just like try to keep a limit with you there for a second. Don't go too crazy, or maybe just, if you want to continue to do it, cool, but don't ride. Don't go to the mountain again. You might get hurt, and that's going to cost you a couple of months out of the bike, and that'll be not as fun.
Well, I forget who told me. It's like with mountain biking, it's not if you'll crash, it's when you'll crash.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I had a gnarly crash, and gladly I didn't break any bones, but like I destroyed all my ligaments and everything on my right arm, and I was in pain for so long. My right side was completely like suffering. Like, initially it was my shoulder, then my elbow, then my wrist, then my lower back. I was the best, and that's actually when I started focusing more on the training aspect. That's before the 2022, where I'm like focusing a lot on figuring out how do I fix my body, and working with a chiropractor also. They helped me understand my hips were super weak. Like, there were things I had to strengthen and get better. So I picked up pretty much the trend of jumping on kettlebells, and that's how I actually went to like, oh, I got to get smarter with these workouts. And so far, knocking something hard, my back has been good. Like, I've been getting way stronger. You feel pain here and there, but like, it ain't like debilitating to the point it's like, oh my gosh, I cannot do anything. And also that helps you a lot to prevent injuries too. Because if you have better muscle elasticity, I think it is, the stronger you are overall, it'll help you either not to get a major injury, or probably will help you just recover way faster. those are things I've been like figuring out. It's like, okay, this helps me a lot more than what I think. So I'm going to continue doing it for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I'm getting into physio now, like not getting into it. I'm just finally coming back. Got a amazing physio guy down up here in Edmonton. But yeah, like we're currently using like body weight or like not even body weight. Like sometimes it's just lifting your leg from like a 90-degree bend over over this block that's like maybe 2 inches, and while you're sitting on the ground and then putting it straight and then bringing it back. And it's like, I'm pretty sure over the last like 3 weeks that I've been going consistently, like, I don't know what it is. Like my body's looking leaner and more shredded. So like people who are listening, go get your 5-pound weights, go get your bands, go get embarrassed. Cause like, go work on that core and go work on those rotator cuffs, like that have not been exercised in a long time. Cause it helps so much.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, initially, it's always terrible, and that's something I love on the mountain biking perspective, and also on the fitness perspective, is that I really enjoy introducing people to it. Like come out and let's have fun. Forget about everybody out here. Like literally, also when you go to the gym, unless there's a weird person, but like 99% of the people, I'll say, probably 95, they're focused on themselves. They're like, I'm just doing my workout, man. I'm trying to go through this and not die and hopefully be better tomorrow, right? For sure. It's the same with mountain biking. Like we're just all having fun. It could be super gnarly for you, and I will absolutely appreciate that. I can see that from your perspective because I was there one day, but also I can help you. Like it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Don't worry. You go over this, it'll get way better. You'll actually start enjoying so much more, and then it's going to become more and more fun. Whatever is scary today, tomorrow could be a lot of fun. So I started bringing those things up, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you see people enjoying it big time, and that's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And kind of as we're coming to the later part of the show, what I got a few last questions, but as someone who's carved out a unique space in the mountain bike world, what's one piece of advice you'd share with our listeners looking to find their own path?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part. Like somebody starting on mountain biking or trying to find something?
No, like, you've had a great space and found your spot of, the mountain bike world, the filming world. What's one piece of advice you'd give someone or share with the listeners looking to find their own path?
Man, it's just trying new things. Like when you look at, so the main thing that I really get to discover things is like, watching YouTube, watching just whatever you're scrolling through, whatever you see that you like a lot, look at it. That might be your next thing. If you see like traveling, content creation, or doing something specifically, working with Legos, 3D printing, working with AI. So finding your passion, I think that's key there. Try to find that passion, find something that fires you internally and makes you scared. That's one of the biggest things. Like when you're scared about something, it's like, ooh, this is pretty insane, pretty intense. That means there's something bigger behind it. And your body's like telling you, you got this, you can definitely do it for sure. So I feel it's that. Just look around, see what you're doing today, and then look out there, see all the opportunities you have and find your passion and try it. Just go and try it. Just don't put anything like, I got to be the best one at this. Just don't focus on that. Just go try it out. You're not going to be an expert day one.
Well, I don't think when Connor McDavid or like, LeBron James was born, I don't think his parents were like, he's going to be a basketball star. He's going to be a hockey star. I think he just, found something tried something new and then started to like it. And then, went from there. But it's like, yeah, like you said, like in today's world, we have access to so much more information. Like, do a dive, go be nerdy. Let's go nerd out on some stuff and find what you like.
Absolutely. We have, like back in the day, we'll just see our grandpas and our dads like, oh, this is what they're doing. All right, cool. I'm going to do that. Seems to be fun. But now it's like, whoa, you get to see like what everybody's doing. Like I get to see guys doing video, filming, and the beauty of that is I get two parts of it. Like I get the creative aspect and the mountain biking aspect. I can see what people probably gets frustrated on just doing one thing. Definitely add a couple things. Just don't do one. If you're going to do one for sure, you can do it really, really good. but like adding others will complement it, will help you, and it will make you more. Because on the moment you start doing something every time, all the time, it will get boring. Don't like it will happen. There's no questions about that. It will absolutely happen. But like I feel like that's something I've found out. Like okay, keeping it interesting. You know, just keeping it interesting with some other things. Oh, I want to try that. I want to try to do this, and everything connects up together. It's pretty cool.
Well, and I forget what it is. I know I talk about it a lot in the podcast, but it's like kind of like the knowledge window, and knowledge is kind of put into 4 categories. It's like the things we know that we're good at, the things we know that we're not good at, the things we don't know that we're not good at, and then it's like the things that we don't know that we have no idea exists, and that's like 80% of all information out there. So it's like
it's insane. We're so capable for sure. It's just like finding out what get that, get you hyped up and stoked. It's like, whoa, this is it. This is going to be it. And you get super excited about it. And so you get excited about something, that's going to be it. It has to be like, otherwise it's like, no, just don't try.
And look at it in different lights. Like, people always look at, they're like, I love skiing, but I don't want the ski bum lifestyle or, this or that. It's like, well, okay, don't go be a ski bum, but like, go, like, if you love skiing, like, what about it do you love? Or like, what can you build in the skiing world that will allow you to support your passion? Because like I love skiing. I'm not living in a mountain town, but I built a goggle and sunglass company that lives there. So it's like, oh, hey, we kind of need to go film content. Oh, sorry guys, I guess I have to go out to the mountains to go mountain biking or skiing. Sign me up for the tough, difficult choice there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But I guess
it's pretty awesome seeking adventures too. It's pretty cool to go out there and just get new adventures and climbing it. I mean, I had a pretty gnarly experience, and it was actually an in-year fire. We were climbing this mountain, and we're on our bikes trying to get to the summit, and there's a hailstorm that rolled in. But I was like in a Hawaiian shirt and jorts, just chilling. Like it was great weather. It was 65, and all of a sudden it's like 30 degrees, like freezing temperatures, like whoa, getting wet, like hail was coming down, that thing in its sleep. We're like, man, I was like sore. Like my body was like, my arms were red, like everything was hurting. The pellets were coming through my freaking helmet. My head was hurting. I'm like, what the heck is going on? that was gnarly, but that mental strength really helps you, or it gets you stronger. Like you can survive so much. Like you might think, oh man, I'll be cold. And gladly I've done cold plunges too before that. So I was like, all right, I did actually a natural cold plunge, and that was in oh my gosh, Flagstaff. That's in Arizona. We had a major snowstorm on the Sedona Bike Fest last year, so we actually ended up in the river the next morning, digging up a hole and jumping in the water in that river. And that was like 19 degrees. It was freezing temperatures for sure. It was so cold, but we did it. And after that, I was like, all right, I've survived that. I can survive this. And I was just thinking about all of that. But it's the experience. It's having fun out there in the mountains. It's cool.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess this is probably my favorite part now. Just like in previous episodes, they got to ask you a question. What would you like to know from our guest for next week about hunting good days or navigating their adventures? What question would you ask them?
That's a pretty good one. Thinking about it. Because it's usually for me, how do you collect all those memories, right? What keeps you, focused on collecting those memories? Like, I don't know. It's a good question, and I keep thinking about it. Like, what could be? That's definitely a good one.
I like that, and on like collecting memories, because like you do it with film and photo. But so with my mom passing, got my first tattoo with my sister to remember her, then got addicted to it. But then I was like, oh, it's cool to tell the story of like, this is the arm that motivates me. But then this is my travel arm. And then, so like when I was in Hawaii, I got stitched surfing, and then it says be yourself in Hawaiian. So then when I go to like Vegas for NASCAR, I'll get like a old muscle car to remember that. And then when I go to Japan, I'm going to get the little Niseko. They have a potato festival, and they have this little ski potato. And so like I'll have that added, and then it's just like that's how I collect my memories. But I like
that's pretty neat.
I like that question. How do you collect your memories?
Yeah. I think that. Yeah, I feel that that's so important. Like you film in, you collect them on tattoos or stickers. I see a lot of people with stickers too. I do have a lot of stickers actually. My older bike, it has a lot of stickers from the places I've been. So which is kind of cool. I don't have all of them actually. I need to get a few more, but yeah, it's pretty neat. I look at it, it's like, oh yeah, that happened there. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, absolutely. I think as as humans we love stories. So it's like, at the basis, memories are stories.
Yeah.
So that's and who would you like to see on future episodes on this podcast?
Man, I mean, I think hopefully someone that can just continue to spread the love of mountain biking and the active life. Somebody that can help others, overcome anything they might be going through as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure names. There's so many names out there. There's a few good creators out there. There's a few good bodies I know of. Simon is he actually does podcasting as well. Simon from the Dirt Therapy. Freaking Simon is a great guy for sure. He has a lot of good stories. Same with Jonathan on Dirt Therapy. I would say, most of those friends, like I have another great friend, which is one of the top riders out here too. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I can definitely send you a good list, but I would say, yeah, somebody that can keep, the stoke high and just motivating others and hopefully, touching different aspects on them to help them. Hey, there's opportunities for you out here. You can have fun.
Yeah. Well, and you can do it so differently too, right? Like, as much as we are unique in the world, that we're probably not as unique as we think. So I always say, like, there's probably like at the very least 1% of the world is exactly like Jared. Like, there's North American Jared, or you like Canada Jared, American Jared, Mexico Jared, but like, well, more than that. But like, you just gotta get out there and find your use and talk about it, and there's lots of different things that motivate people.
Absolutely. Yeah, and everybody, we will have like different energy, vibration, or whatever, our facial expressions, whatever it is, we can always connect with some individuals better than others, and I love that for sure.
100%. And last question: if someone, like, for unfortunately having mental battles and stuff like that, or having more bad days, what advice would you, like, if someone tuned in for the first time, was having a few more bad days than normal, what advice would you speak to them individually right now to hopefully have them have a little bit more better good days?
I would say first, write down what are your battles. Write them down. What is actually making you, what's keeping you up at night? And from those, start scratching them off the list and change those things for new things. Go and do something new. So that's, I feel is the best thing to like replace or help those battles. It's like try and find something that will make you happier or potentially excited about.
Yeah. And I think, when we come up to these battles, it's not like, well, sometimes it's like, unfortunately, you get the bad luck of the draw where that battle just pops up immediately. But for the most part, it's like something that's been building consecutively over time. And then it's like, the last little straw is like kind of like what breaks the camel's back is the
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think writing them down is so important too, because you start figuring out, oh, this happened to me and this is what's going on. And this is how can I, and you're not going to replace it ever, but you're going to find something to help you channel through that and use something to help it and hopefully heal it at some point too.
Yeah.
So absolutely healing is key.
Yeah. It's going to be hard. You find something to help you with it. It's not going to be like a daylight sweat. Well, maybe, but it's
sometimes, sometimes could be, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But most of the time, yeah, it takes time.
Well, have you come across the book Atomic Habits?
I have not. I've heard about it actually. One of my main mentors, which I actually listen to a lot of podcasts, their mentors, Mel Robbins and a few other creators out there. They mentioned that one. I think they mentioned a few quotes out of it. I think I need to check it out.
Yeah, it's a good book. But the thing that I loved from it is, be 1% better. Like, you don't have to be 100% better every day, but if you're 1% better every day, you're 37 times better in a year than what you were when you started.
Makes sense.
And yeah,
that's pretty neat. Is it? Yeah.
There are some cool tidbits in there. Like, they talked about the British Olympic bike team, and like they hadn't or won a race in like, I think like 30 or 40 years, but then they started focusing on this little stuff. Like, it was like, the recovery. They like had warm shorts after they were riding to keep their muscles warm. They painted the inside of their vans white so like you could see dust to keep the bikes better maintained. And like these little stuff that doesn't like, it's not like, oh, I have to be better at racing and being fast. It's like, no, these little things added to like what made someone better. So it was kind of cool to see that.
That's neat. That's super neat. I need to check it out for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you, David, for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, this is good. Looking forward for what's going to be happening with, the good day and what you guys are doing. I'm pretty stoked about that for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait till I can do It's a Good Day to Travel Across America and then stop at all the bike parks.
That'll be awesome. Well, if you stop by Texas, you know where to find me.
Yeah,
I'll be right there.
I'll be at Spider Mountain and just cut my chain at the bottom.
Sweet. That works. That'll be perfect, actually.
Awesome. Well, have a good night.
All righty. I'll see you later then.
See you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.